just want to say I loved hearing about how many problems you guys had, because doing what you did in a year with all those problems makes whatever I'm afraid of diminished. So thank you for being so open about that. So.
And the thing is, as we grow, the problems get bigger, the stakes get bigger, the profitability gets bigger, your wealth gets bigger, right? But the problems are also going to be bigger. And unless you flex that muscle, and unless you learn how to deal with those smaller problems, you're not going to be able to build up to the bigger ones. And this is business. All right, you guys, so we think it's so amazing when we bring in a panel of investors who are successful. I feel like everybody stays. So why don't we start here? If you all could take a moment, tell us your name, where you live, where you invest, and what is the size of your portfolio now? I know we said they crossed $1 million, but...
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Effie Trukowski. I'm based in New Jersey, and I invest in Philadelphia. Currently, I have 11 doors, and my portfolio is worth $1.8 million.
Woo-hoo!
We are Ann and Randy Betts. We live in Michigan, Kalamazoo. We invest primarily in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but we also have bought properties in Dover, Delaware, primarily because we have kids in Dover.
And we have $850,000 in BRRRRs. We've done some flips, about $1.5 million this year. So right now we currently own $1.6 million, and this year we bought $2.3 million.
Woohoo!
Hi, everyone. My name is Tasha Snipes. I live in Houston. It's weird to be up here, just so you know. We manage 12 doors. 7 of those are rental arbitrage through Airbnb. The rest we own. They are in Memphis and Houston. We control about $3 million worth of property, which is insane to me. And then we own about $1 million.
Amazing. So my first question for you guys, where were you before you joined us? And what has been the biggest mindset up level that you made while you were in this community?
Oh my gosh. So in terms of where I was before I joined this program, I joke that I've run the gamut of all businesses. So I quit my corporate job about 7-8 years ago, really in search of this, right? And I quit my job because it was not working. Corporate life, I'm a mom of 4. That just was not working out for me very well. I was looking for something where I could do work that made an impact, work that I enjoyed, while still being able to be present for my kids. And so I quit my job, launched a brick and mortar business. It was one of the paint and wine art studios where you go paint and wine. That was a fun business. It just wasn't a good fit. It didn't give me the flexibility that I wanted. I was very tied to it. So again, I eventually ended up selling it, and then went into business consulting, teaching other moms how to build businesses and how to build it in a way such that they had time to be present at home as well. So I was doing that. And then eventually my husband and I started talking about really building wealth, right? And we had looked into different opportunities, and we were really trying to find something that we could do together and something that could build long-term wealth. So we started to look into short-term rentals. And our idea was we would save up, buy a short-term rental, use it as our own second home, and then be able to do it as an Airbnb. And we had literally just put an offer in to a property. There was an issue with the roof. We had pulled out, and just around that time, we came across one of Palak's ads, and that just ended up being the best thing ever, because as we were getting into the short-term rental process, we were finding how there was lots of regulations coming in. It just wasn't as profitable as it was before. So it was really just fate that we came across this program. And then the minute I heard about the BRRRR strategy, it clicked for me. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's the long-term wealth, it's the tax strategies. It's just such a perfect fit. And I haven't done it for now. I can say all of that is true. And I think what was your question, the biggest mindset up level? Yeah. Really, I think the biggest mindset thing has been that it doesn't take millions to do this, right? A year and a half ago, if you told me that I could build a $1.8 million portfolio property, I'd be like, I'm not Bill Gates. I don't have all of that money, right? I wouldn't have thought that with the money that we had, we were using that money we had saved to go buy one short-term rental property. And that's what we thought we were going to do. Have that short-term rental property, wait a couple years, save up some more, buy another rental property. And that was really the trajectory that we thought we were going to be on. But then having found this program, we realized how we can really leverage the money that we have, the funds that we have, our home equity line of credit, things like that, to be able to build a portfolio that's way bigger than I could have ever imagined. So I think that's the biggest thing. It doesn't take millions to do this.
That's amazing. And Effie, we talked about Effie so many times in the community, because Effie, within her first month, it was like 45 days, and she had 3 deals. Four deals. I stand corrected. It was 4 deals, not 3. And we keep saying, this is your journey. It's as unique as you are. Some people, it takes 8 months to get a deal. Some people do 4 deals in a month. And it's a broad spectrum. So you can be whoever you want to be. Take it as fast as you want. How about you guys?
So where was I in the journey? So I had owned a credit reporting agency for about 20 years, oddly in Philadelphia, even though we live in Michigan. And I thought I was done with Philadelphia when I sold it about 2 years ago. So I was now in an uncomfortable position of not knowing what I was going to do next. And then, Ann, go ahead.
So I was in between. I just finished my MBA program right before I turned 50. Yes, you can still do stuff. Yeah, middle age. Yes. And when I finished that program, I moved into about a 1.5 year long job, not job search, but search for a manufacturing company. The school had a great program. They were setting up people to buy and operate their own business. A 1.5 years in, I had this epiphany moment where I'm like, I want to work for myself, but in buying a company, I'm really going to be working for a board of directors that is being set up for me. And I'm like, I don't want that. I just left corporate. Why would I do that? We had a few months where I'm like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? Because he was still working. And then he ended up leaving his position because he'd sold the company and they no longer needed him. That's what private equity does. And we're like, great, we both now can do something. What are we going to do? And we knew we wanted to do real estate, but we didn't know how. And we've gone through a lot of hard things. We didn't want to recreate the wheel. We didn't want to take 3 to 5 years to figure out how to do real estate. We didn't want to lose money. And so I'm like, let's learn from someone that's already done it. So I'm laying in bed one night, scrolling, and I come across Palak's 5-day accelerator program. And I'm like, cool, it's free. I'll do that. And so I took 5 days, I did it, and I'm like, I really like this couple. They're not salesy. It looks like a good program. They seem genuine. They seem authentic. I'm going to hit Randy up for this. And Randy was a little skeptical, and we met with Aviv. I'm like, come on, let's just talk to him. We met with Aviv, and Aviv was great. And we decided, you know what, let's do it. What have we got to lose? So we signed up for the program, and here we are. We signed up in January, and look where we are in 11 months.
So how many flips have you done in 11 months?
6 flips,
Oh my
5 burrs,
goodness.
6 flips. Yeah,
Amazing. And how many burrs?
5.
5 burrs.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right.
Do you mind? Can I talk about the biggest mindset thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That was going to be my next
Okay, thank you.
question.
So when I was younger, I saw my parents go through some really difficult financial times. So I developed a fear of debt. And Randy and I worked very hard the past 20 years, paying off a lot of debt. He started a business in the 90s, didn't go good. We racked up a lot of business debt. And we worked 20 years to pay off that business debt as well as our personal debt. And we were very proud in 2018. We paid off everything. So that's great, that's good, but then we knew to start a business, you gotta have debt. Or typically you have some investment debt. So for me, one of the biggest mindset kind of shifts is that there is good debt. There is good investment debt. And not all debt is bad. So I had to overcome that. And even some of what the speaker said today resonated with me that, yeah, it's okay, you wanna leverage your money. And so for me, that was just, and probably still is, a bit of a shift. And some of these speakers have even helped me today go, okay, it's okay. You know what? It's okay to have a mortgage. It's wise because that frees up money to scale and to grow. So for me, that was the biggest thing.
Love that. Was it something different for you, Randy, and a mindset shift, or was it the same?
No, I would say it was the same. We worked very hard to become debt-free, and I never wanted to be in any kind of debt again because debt had been so crushing for a long time. And even in our credit business, my partner and I, we worked very hard to pay off debt. We just never liked to carry debt. So that has been the biggest mindset because you realize you're not paying taxes on debt, and it allows you to scale. And so that was the biggest mindset.
Love that.
So I would say I joined the program about a year ago. I'd been investing prior to that. I'd been investing for a long time. I've done all different types of real estate investment. And I think the program helped focus me. One of the things that I live in Houston. Houston's a very competitive market. There's a lot of big investors in Houston. And I remember in 2019 going out trying to find a deal in Houston and being like, how are these people buying stuff within 24 hours in cash? Like, how are people moving this quick? And I realized I was missing something. Like people had figured out something to do this at scale, to move at the speed that they were doing, and I was missing something. I wasn't getting the memo. And so the program was the memo. Now I'm like, oh, that's how they do it. I can do that. Oh, you can do 24 hours? What about 12? So I think that's a part that was a big difference for me is it helped focus me, and it helped me leverage up of what I was already seeing of how people were able to move quickly, to scale, to build those systems and things of that nature.
I love it. So we'll start with you with the next question. I was just looking at my next question. What was the biggest challenge that you faced with your BRRRR, and how did you solve it?
So my partner is my husband. He's at home with our 2 kids. And so I actually asked him that because I wanted to know his view of that, and I actually think we agreed. So we do our BRRRRs in Memphis. We're in Houston. He's from Memphis, and so we spend a lot of time visiting family in Memphis. And I asked him that, and his thing was just not physically being able to go to the property, having to rely upon contractors and things of that nature. And there definitely is a level of trust but verify with contractors and things of that nature. So there are things that the contractor thinks is done because his sub told them that was done, and then you get a picture and it's completely not done. So that's the part that's been tough to manage is I work at a large law firm, right? When my associates come to me with a work product, it's finished. It's proofed. It's dotted I's, crossed the T's with a bow on top. And working with contractors typically doesn't work that way. And so for me, that was a challenge of that's not how I run my law practice. But contractors tend to have, even the Prince Charming contractors have holes in their socks, I like to say. And so how do I deal with that? I have worked on even better fortifying my boots on the ground team. I was literally texting my contractor today, and you probably saw me step out, because I talked to him, he's like, all this stuff is done. I was like, that's nice, but such and such is going to check, and we're going to have an inspection, and we're going to is this all necessary? Yes. So that's how we've overcome it.
I love that. So you're out-of-state investors, and anybody have this question about, I'm investing out of state, how am I going to do this, not being here? Does this help? Yeah, love that. Thank you for sharing that. How about
Boy, ours is absolutely no doubt finding a contractor we can trust. And we have, unfortunately, fired a contractor. That contractor started off well. We thought they were it. They did a couple of BRRRRs and they did a good job. As we added properties, there were more and more issues that arose, quality issues, projects that they said would take X number of weeks, but add a month or 6 weeks, and multiple other things. We fired that contractor in August and looked for another contractor, found them, they stole from us. And then we now have 2 contractors. One we're happy with so far. He's on his second project with us. The other one got us through a problem project. Not sure if we'll use him again. So finding a contractor, a team player that has the capability, there's the 3 C's. Those of you in HR probably know what they are, the capability, the character, and then the chemistry, where we think we found them. And 2 things I would say that we've learned from this is, one, I don't 100% trust any contractor. As Tasha said, trust and verify, or verify before trusting. But so we've got, it takes time. It takes time. And just because they do one project well doesn't necessarily mean project 2, 3, and 4 is going to be done well. So it's important that we have boots on the ground that verify things. The other thing I've learned is that as we were desperate with a large project that should have been done 2 months prior, we rushed into that second contractor. And what we've learned, we were talking about this yesterday, is it is better to take some time. Maybe have a project sit 30 days rather than rush into adding a team player that isn't the right fit. And so that is something that we will never do again. Better to sit 30 days, have a project sit, than to rush into someone else. So taking 30, 45 days to find the right person, whether it's a contractor or anyone else, is going to be less pain than moving forward with someone that you shouldn't be moving forward with.
And one of the big things we always talk about is don't ever give somebody 50% deposit. You're always going to pay somebody a little bit and continue paying them as they progress. So even if things don't work out, you're not out 50% of your budget from the get-go. And that happens. And people's personal lives get in the way of their business, and good contractors, their business changes. So you never want to give a lot of deposit upfront. I love that you shared that. Anybody worried about contractors? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What this tells me, and the takeaway for everyone here should be, despite these setbacks, these guys have still done 11, right? I can't even keep track. 11 deals this year. This is part of this business, and that's okay. You're going to still continue moving forward. You're still profitable. You're still building your portfolio. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be the third for contractor issues. And it's so, because they're such a pivotal part of the
It's
process.
such a big part of the
right?
this
It's
puzzle.
like
Yeah.
we're dealing in, our product is our homes, right? We're taking these distressed homes and we're renovating them, stabilizing them, and that's the product. And so having someone that can turn the product into what we desire it to be and being able to do that on time, on budget, to your vision is so critical. So same thing. I've had the same contractor issues, and I had said to the group, coming into the program, I had 4 deals at the same time. And my initial thought had been to test out 4 different contractors, right? So I could really test them out in real time, test their timing. And then I didn't stick with that plan. So I ended up being talked into using one of the contractors for 3 of my projects, and then 1 contractor for the other one. The first contractor out, like Ann said, started out great with the 1 project. But then as I closed the second and third and added that onto him, the quality drastically suffered. And so for that, again, 2 things. I realized that 1, to stick with my original intent, right? So I had a plan. I was going to use 4 different contractors. I let someone talk me into not doing that. And then also, like Palak has said, making sure to not pay them. So that's one thing I do now. I tell my contractor, I found a good one that came pre-vetted from a member of the team of the program here. My thing is I will never pay someone a big upfront payment ever again. And that's something now I tell the contractors, I'm working with a lender. I need to get paid by the lender, and then I can pay you. So in that, you hedge the risk a little bit, right? In terms of the payment, they do know that I'm not going to be paying out of pocket. Your work has to be verified prior to getting paid. So that's been a way to deal with the challenge of the contractors. And you always have to if you can get a contractor that's been pre-vetted by someone, has been used by someone, you're hedging your risk a little bit more. And even then, you still can't tell. But that's one of the ways to hedge
Always
that.
do your due
Yep.
diligence. Yes, I love that. Okay. You guys, I just want to hear maybe two quick biggest takeaways from today. What's your biggest takeaway from today?
I know people have joked about it. I think it's Mrs. Oprah Winfrey and Mr. Oprah Winfrey here, okay? So the way I love the panel's emphasis on social, I'm a big advocate. One of the reasons I pursued this program is to have that freedom. I don't want my sons to inherit. I want the society to benefit. So love whatever you guys said. Thank you.
There's one takeaway.
It's quick. I just want to say I loved hearing about how many problems you guys had because doing what you did in a year with all those problems makes whatever I'm afraid of diminished. So thank you for being so open about that. So that was good.
100%. And I love that you brought that up because here's the thing. When we see the final outcome, we don't realize that's the tip of the iceberg. We don't know all of the stuff that has gone on in the background. And the thing is, as we grow, the problems get bigger, the stakes get bigger, the profitability gets bigger, your wealth gets bigger, right? But the problems are also going to be bigger. And unless you flex that muscle and unless you learn how to deal with those smaller problems, you're not going to be able to build up to the bigger ones. And this is business, right? So keep it realistic. And I love that you guys were so realistic about it. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
When you're ready to get serious, you can join us at theinvestoraccelerator.com.
It's like getting 1,000 episodes worth of information in 5 days, and it's everything you need to build your actionable plan to financial freedom and making work optional.